Morning traders, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach, and I'm back. Not done a video since Monday. I started a video on Tuesday, and we entered a short on euro dollar, which I'll talk you through shortly. Ended up getting stopped out, and then that night we had a re-entry on euro dollar and closed the first half for a tiny profit. Got stopped out overnight on Tuesday for the second half. So I ended up recording 1 minute 47 seconds worth of footage. So there wasn't a lot going on, and it really wasn't worth me doing anything. Now, a couple of things to talk about. So basically, I've been in several positions. I've been in a couple of drawdown positions that are separate to the trades that I send out on my Signal service. However, it's on the same account, which means that I have been in a period where I've been limited on what trading I could do, because obviously you've got certain risk parameters that you need to stay within with regards to trading, and for me, my exposure and my risk size is what I measure. And if I'm at my limit, then although trades may be setting up, I won't be able to take them, and it is frustrating because it sometimes does mean that you do miss several trades, which in my case has happened. But nevertheless, we are in a position now where I'm able to start to trade a bit, and hopefully we can get some good trades off again. So what did we do? Well, on the daily charts, if I go across, we had this this upwards trend with the euro, clearly an upwards trend. We talked about at the top the possibility of this coming up higher, and it then sold off. So there would have been loads of people in short, loads of stops above this. And then we got into this, we had a couple of shorts along here, but we got into a short up here somewhere. So when price had come up into this upper price envelope, I was expecting a bounce down to the lower end of the price envelope, and potentially even a bit of a follow through to this 50 period moving average down here. Unfortunately, that didn't come through, and it just kept pushing higher and stopped us out. When we got up here, there was some divergence type behaviour, and on the 1 hour chart, if I go to the 1 hour chart, okay, so we had a short around about this zone. It came down slightly, and we closed out half of it because we needed to leave it overnight, and into the next morning it pushed up and stopped us out. There wasn't then a nice short setup in the morning, which you can see here came off quite nicely, but we saw this momentum was picking up, and this just sold off yesterday afternoon and pulled back into this zone here, and just has had a massive run up since then. Now I'm in short again this morning, and now I've got two types of trades on. I've got a short-term trade on here up at these highs, and I've also got around here, these two positions are sort of a longer term, mid-term trade. However, I am concerned still, because we've still got this trend line, and we are within touching distance of this trend line now, and above here is going to be the order book's going to have loads of stops. There'll be loads of traders that we've got in short when we've had this big run up, and there'll be orders, so it would make sense for it to come up, take these stops out, and hit this trend line. So there is the possibility that I could close out. If this does come off, then potentially I could close out of some of this position, and maybe just leave half on, purely because I'd be looking then for another entry if it does push up. So still get that trend line in the back of my mind, putting me off this trade slightly. As you can see here from my volumes, they are less than what I'd normally trade anyway, as a result of that. We're in one other trade as well, which is sort of it's in drawdown at the moment, but it's a longer term trade, another longer term trade for us. So I'm not going to go through that and show that, but we are in that as well. So yeah, I'm going to pause it here. There's not a lot else to talk about at the moment, and we'll sit and wait and see how this euro plays out. Okay, we've just started to get some selling coming into the euro now. So it come off, had a bounce, which was expected if with sort of this strong push up, this momentum. It's obviously got resistance all the way down because we've got all of these moving averages from this upward trend that it needs to break through. So you know, there will be bounces off of these. The one that looks strongest is going to be this 200 period moving average, which is this sort of blue mauvey line down here. And if we do get down to there, by the time that pushes up, it might also tie in with these support and resistance levels across here. So that's the level I will be looking at, because there potentially will be bounces and things off of there. So around this sort of zone, that's where the support's going to come for this to then potentially push back up before then, if it is going to do it, rolling back over again. So that's what I'll be watching out for, and then obviously make my trading decisions based on that. Okay, we're just coming down to TP1 on this shorter term trade that I'm putting up here. So I'll just record for a minute and just see whether we can get this recording as we come through this limit order. Hi guys, and it's had a bounce here, so it's bounced all the way back up. So sitting and waiting still on this euro dollar short. Okay, just back, and we've managed to finally get through to target price 1, and you can see here it's just blipped through and overshot this moving average, and it could now have a bounce. So if it's due a bounce, or it's a bounce is available for it now. So what I would like to see is a bounce that sort of stays within this area here, for it to then continue this move lower. But that being said, it could just keep going now with this trend until it gets down to this slightly stronger support level down here at this 200 period moving average. Okay, we're getting oversold here, and we're just in the realms of a period of time where this could bounce. So I've got this second part of this trade that we took up here in, and I'm just going to close it out manually here. I still think there's a possibility we could just get down to this 200 period moving average, but I've got 4 other positions here split across, so I could play with those in order to try and maximise the potential for this trade. If it does then bounce up, I can then get back in on it on the short side. Okay, so we did manage to get down to this 200 period moving average. It had a blip down there. As I messaged out to the signal traders, they hopefully would have got a good exit down here somewhere anyway. So what I'm looking for now is to get some sort of bounce up, and then I'll be looking to put in some more short positions somewhere in this zone up here, if we can bounce back up there. Okay, just back, and we got out of that last short around here somewhere. We've got a re-entry just up here. So we're looking for first target, just a break of this low here, and second target slightly further down. Now, fortunately, similar to what I've said before, this just shot down on this candle. So anyone following the signal needs to be waiting for a bounce, because by the time I messaged that out, this candle was already moving down. So but you know, as I say, it factors out either way, because I think on the close here, when I messaged out the close on the trade over here, it shot down, and I think people probably would have got a better price than what I originally I got myself. So probably averages out in the long run. But as I say, we're in a game short here. We've got the longer term short entries just down here, and we're looking for a bit more of a run down on this euro. Okay, just back, and we had this flush down with regards to this euro dollar short. Didn't quite get to target price. Since then it's had a push up. It's just started to come off again, so still look on the 1 hour chart like we're sort of in the process of the early stages of sort of rolling over here. But I do need to be careful, because as I've mentioned before, we have got this trend line way up there that could attract the market to it. So I'm going to keep my eye on this position here. The longer term positions, which are these ones and these ones, I'm not so worried about, but this shorter term position, it's got to stop just up here, so it would be in jeopardy of getting stopped out if the market was to push up. Okay, we're just coming up to the close of the hour at 4 o'clock, and this euro dollar is just kind of holding up at the moment. It's not really coming off, so I'm just tempted to close out this short-term trade here, and just leave the longer-term short on. Okay, the shorter-term add-ins have been closed out at break-even, so I've just got the swing-style short in because of this hour candle that closed on the last hour. There was always the possibility that this could have pushed up, so there was always that risk, and that wasn't a risk that I was willing to take, bearing in mind that we've already got exposure on this with the swing short. So I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you've had a good day's trading. We had the one winning trade off the top here, and a flat trade there short term wise on the second entry, and then we've got the two positions in here for a swing short